Defining a man is being calm, in control of their emotions, emotionally available, is able to be vulnerable.
I hope people are gonna be a bit more self-reflective, more open-minded, more positive, more grateful for what they have.
Your consciousness and my consciousness, if you were to remove yourself or myself, my personality, my body, my emotions, everything that makes up inherently me, you're left with this.
All the bad things, they're not actually bad things, they are just opportunities to see how can you do better. Hey people, today is our 6th episode and welcome to Triangle Theory. Today we're going to do a completely different podcast from what we've done in the past. So Rupert came up with a fantastic idea to prepare a set of questions for each other. We have no idea what we're going to ask each other, which makes a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And I think our audience can have an opportunity to delve into our personalities and see how we actually think. So, since it's your idea, let's start.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be, and how would you go about it?
Oh, that's a good one. If that could be one thing I could change about the world, what would that be? I think I would change that people would be more human in a way. I think I would try to make people more positive about themselves and about people, just more related to people, because there's a lot of bad happening in our world, and I think a lot of it is just because people are so negative and everything is around them it's not really positive. And I think that's why the world is it's not in a bad place. I mean, I'm not saying it's in a bad place. I'm living a good life, you living a good life, so it's not like the end of the world, but there's definitely in areas where you don't want to go because you know people are like so dangerous there because they just of their backgrounds and because of the negative experiences they had in their life. So I think I'd like people to be more positive and more self-reflective of their bad behaviors. That would be my thing.
Fucking dope. No question.
Damn. How would you define a man, and what does it mean to be one for you?
How do I define a man? I think all the characteristics of men being... Oh man, it's such a tough one.
Well,
I would...
That's your idea, right?
Yeah, I know. Fuck. I think how I would... Just one more time.
So how would you define a man, and what does it mean to be one for you?
I think defining a man is being calm, in control of their emotions, emotionally available, is able to be vulnerable, I think is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Courageous, did I say courageous?
Yeah.
Risk-taking, committed, reliable. I think that's also what it means as well. Being able to show up, also playful, I think as well.
Yeah.
Being secure and being able to provide. I think innate in all men's nature is wanting to be able to be able to protect and provide. But also I think when it comes to what it means for me to be a man is to be this all-encompassing kind of person where I can do that in a way that's like the masculine of wanting to fulfill all those desires, but then also be able to sort of be able to be content with myself and my emotions and be comfortable with that. I think that provides a lot of security, and I think men need to do that more than ever. I think that's almost like you've got this like alpha of like, yeah, fuck that, I just want to like, you know, being a man is being switched off and, you know, going to a club and smoking a cigar and telling women to fuck off and, you know, being this like kind of macho guy.
Yeah.
But I think it stems way more from being that. I think it comes down to like being a gentleman, being nice, being polite, being kind, being genuine and authentic. I think massively as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what it means to me.
You mentioned being able to provide. Do you mean being able to provide just financially, or you had something else in mind?
Yeah, I think providing in a sense of.
What do you mean by providing, and who are you providing for?
For family, for sure. Like, if you think about tribes where they're like going out and hunting and bringing back a like
piece
some
of meat,
food, yeah, you'd be like, I'm fulfilling everything that it means to be a man,
mm-hmm.
providing for my family. But I think you could also look at it as providing security, providing a home, providing being that person that people can lean on.
Mm-hmm.
Providing in that way. I think that's also being that symbol of what it means to be a man. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's a.
I think I agree with
question.
you on everything.
Yeah. Okay. My next question. What's your biggest fear, and how do you cope with it?
Ooh. I think I have the same. My biggest fear is to be ignorant to myself, to what I truly want. I'll give you an example. If I know I have to do something and I'm not doing it because I'm being ignorant to the consequences of that thing that's going to manifest in the long run. So, say for example, I'm not controlling my emotions, which I think I do a good job, but there's room to improve.
Hey guys, thank you so much for making it this far into the podcast. If you have any feedback, then please let us know, as we always want to make this podcast better. So hearing from you is always a pleasure. Please subscribe to all of our platforms, get involved at Triangle Theory. If you've got any comments or if you want to share any topics that you think that me and Conrad would like to talk about, then please get involved. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much.
So say I'm not controlling my emotions and I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just ignoring it because it's like, oh, it's just the way I am. But there are different things on, say for example, you missing training because you're just being ignorant on the consequences. Like you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna be fine. Or like you're not doing coach hours. You're doing coach hours just because you tell the people that you're doing coach hours, but when no one's watching, you're not really doing it. So I think I'm really, really afraid of losing that self-conscious reflection in a way. That I love being in control in a way, but I'm really afraid to lose it one day. And I don't think I will. But if that will happen, that would probably be my biggest fear, to lose the self-reflective side of myself.
And how do you sort of cope with that by not losing it now?
Just by staying true to myself. If I'm doing the thing and I know it's the right thing to do, I'm gonna do it. And if I know it's not the right thing, I'm not doing it. But I'm not perfect. Sometimes I miss training, and sometimes I eat shit food, and then I think like, why did I do it, and what happened? Like, I guess it comes all down to self-reflection and picking yourself back, and because you're always going to fail in different things and fail at habits, but just not being too hard on yourself, just getting back and like, okay, let's do it again. So I think so yeah, I'm really afraid to lose that, but at the same time, even if I lose, I'd like to be, even if I'm losing it, I'm trying to be as compassionate as possible to myself, because I don't think that when you so strict on yourself that you even that you even are afraid of yourself, it doesn't really do you any good for you. You can't encourage people by discouragement, I guess. So yeah,
That's beautiful, man. Next question.
Mate, you know what, like, I'm gonna ask you the same question. What do you fear the most?
What do I fear the most?
Because I literally have the same question there.
I would say my biggest fear is it used to be regret, but I don't think it's regret so much anymore, because I try and live my life not by that. I think my biggest fear would be probably failure. And I know
How would you define a failure?
Well, exactly, because failure is part of the process in order to succeed. So it's like, for me, it's quite like a almost like quite controversial.
Yeah, it
conflicts a lot. But I think failure for me would be like wasted time. I'm terrified of wasting time.
Do you think you're wasting time?
No, unless if it's planned time, then planned wasted time, then no. I don't think I'm wasting time. I think that it's more like if I feel like at the end of the day I've not done what I wanted to achieve, I'm like, that's like my biggest fear it would be like looking back on my life and being like, I didn't fully take advantage of what I had. I didn't, which I suppose is like a regret.
It's very, very similar to what I said, to be honest, I think,
Yeah, like it's kind of, it would be looking back at my life the last however many years, like let's say, and I kind of was sat there looking at it being like, I didn't quite take advantage fully of this experience. I didn't live it.
Yeah. And
I think that's my biggest.
You know what helps me to conflict that and control it? Because I completely understand what you mean. So what I remind myself, so I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think what you're doing right now is a waste of time?
No.
So you can't feel that is a failure even in 20 years because you simply didn't know if you're wasting time or not.
It's true.
Because how can you know that you're going to waste time if at this moment you feel like you're doing the right thing?
It's like the thing of where you only know what you've got right now.
Exactly.
You can only make a decision on the basis of what you know. Like you can't predict the future. But I think it's more kind of, and I know exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree. And I think that's a really great way to look at it. It's like I can only navigate with what I currently know and what I have. I think it would be, I don't know, I've never wanted to just sit on the sideline and let life watch life go past me.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I've been in London 6.5 years now, and if I look back at that time, there's definitely some time where maybe I could have been a bit more pushing, a bit more like, maybe a bit more urgent.
You always can do more.
But you can always do more. But at the time, I felt like I was doing too much. So it's always one of those things. Like, and I think that was like for the pandemic when I felt like I was wasting time. I was like, nah, I'm not. I need to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
And I think I cope with that by just constantly trying to put myself in a position where I feel challenged.
Interesting. I can ask you another one because I just asked you the same question as you did. Do you believe in God and why?
Oh man, so intense. Yes, I do believe in God. Not like someone that takes on the embodiment of like a depiction of like a human. I think I define it as we are just a conscious form of the universe experiencing itself. So your consciousness and my consciousness, if you were to remove yourself or myself, my personality, my body, my emotions, everything that makes up inherently me, you're left with this consciousness that nothing or no one can measure what it is. It's just a state of being. And I think that that's no different. That consciousness in me is no different to your consciousness or an animal's consciousness or anything that's conscious in this planet. And
You're talking about spirit, like soul?
Almost, yeah. I think, yeah, it's just I am, like a state of being. And I think that that's connected to a wider network of divine, which is the universe. And I think the universe is just asking itself the very questions of what it is through the form of the human experience. I think we're just a fractal of a series of patterns and synergies that make up the human experience. Like if you look at how everything is so fine-tuned in order to have this three-dimensional experience, you kind of ask yourself, is there a creator? Are we living in a matrix? Are we like, there's so many theories, like what is time? Like if you look at past, present, future and this dimension, but if you look at sort of out of this realm, like in sort of a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension, time isn't even linear. Like it's, and I think the human experience isn't just this experience. I think you can have a different experience that's not this realm, but in a different realm, almost kind of like a spirit realm in a way. And I think that's connected to a wider divine, which is what the universe is. And I think that makes me feel, when I believe in that, it gives me a sense of purpose, that this means a lot more than what I think, but it's also a lot bigger than me. And I think that gives me a lot of peace, because I think actually none of this matters. And I think you just have to live to the best of your ability and understand yourself as much as possible in order to understand what this is. I think it all starts from within. And I think that, like, when I do like a little prayer or like a little or like a little meditation to myself, it's like trying to connect with a divine, like a higher purpose of me. Like, I think that's kind of what I believe in. Like, I'm always looking up, being like, I don't think someone's looking down, or I don't think anyone's like in control. I think it's more just, we are it,
Interesting. Yeah.
I kind of want to fire the question back at you now.
We're just gonna fire questions back and forth.
It's really interesting. I mean, I don't think I've asked you about what your religious.
I do believe in God. Yeah, I do. And again, I'm very similar to you. I guess I have. I'm really struggling to believe in so to speak, the human embodiment of God. I think is something above that we can't see, can't understand, can't hear, but we just can't feel it. And I think I started to believe in God just last year when I was in Thailand. When I was by myself, for some reason I met this guy. He just turned into Islam. And he started to talk about like having your North Star and God helps you to find it, and I started to look into Islam a lot. I mean, I always had the passion for Islam. I think it's a great religion. I think it's very self-developing religion in a way. But I never really wanted to commit to one because it didn't really make sense for me, because I take bits and pieces from all the religions, I would say. I like Buddhism, I like things that I like about Christianity, and I like things I like things about Islam as well. But I think I'm the person who believes that God is here. You don't need to go to church or mosque to pray. I mean, you can pray at home as well in Islam, but yeah, and it just always feels that. Since then, it always feels like someone has got my back. It's really hard to explain.
No, it's beautiful. It's like God is within you.
Yeah, it's just, I know he guides me and makes me a better person. And if I have to make a decision, I know he's watching me. And I'm not sure if you can say he, because you don't even, I mean, it's watching me. Yeah, and I always try to become. Since then, I'm very conscious of my decisions. A lot more conscious of my decisions because it feels like I'm on a radar. So yeah, I definitely do believe in God. Yeah.
Do you have this feeling that you're kind of being watched?
Yeah, a bit. But I like it.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me aware and in check. Yeah. Like during this fight camp as well, like there was so many times when I was like, I'm not sure if I want to go to train. Like there was many times when I didn't want to go to training, and I was like, maybe I should rest and that, and then you can lie to yourself or to people around you, but you can't lie to the person who's watching above from you, right? Not person, sorry, to something that was watching above from me. So it definitely kept me in check with that. But it's not only like, oh, I'm afraid that he's gonna see me doing this, and it's about like, it gives me the accountability to behave in a certain way as well. So yeah, I definitely believe in God now. But I like it. I like the journey that he puts me on.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I'll ask you another question because I threw that other one.
Go for it.
Man, I'm like, right, let me...
Many questions to choose from.
I've got a lot. How do you envision the world evolving in the next 50 years, socially, economically, and environmentally?
Ooh.
Bit of a
I don't think I'm the best person to ask that, but well, I hope people going to be a bit more awake of all the shit that's going with the government, and people just gonna start to think a bit more for themselves. Rather than just take the what's the word? What's the word? Just do whatever government says them to do in a way. So I hope people gonna be a bit more self-reflective, more open-minded, more positive, more grateful for what they have. But that's what I hope. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, because I think
within the next 50-year period, you don't think people would become more positive?
Well, it doesn't seem like from what's happening around the world right now. It's all this greed and negativity and what's been the whole time. But it feels like no one is. Not no one. I'm not a saint as well. Like I'm not trying to put all the blame on the people.
No, for sure.
I'm not a saint, but I hope people are just gonna be a bit more positive and more kind and just good people. So I hope that could happen. So that's why Graham Hancock says leaders of the world, he wants to become president or go to like a government job, they would have to do at least 15 trips of ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I think call him crazy, but that would definitely change everything. That would definitely change everything. Not even ayahuasca, just a shroom trip. It would just completely change the perspective of everything that's happening around.
Yeah, I think you cultivate more of a
Self-awareness and kindness and
not looking at it through the eyes of commercialism and trying to see what's the most lucrative or like putting other people down, and so it's just this kind of one for all kind of mentality. Yeah, it's like I think it's a really interesting point.
Yeah. So kindness, more positivity, and just be a better person, I guess. That's what I would hope people would become, but hopefully that's gonna happen. So if you could choose yourself as a partner, as a your life partner,
Oh shit.
what would be the thing that you least like about yourself?
Man, that's so hard. I'm so great. No, joking.
I have nothing wrong about
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong is about me.
I would say probably like I think my time, like, I don't know. I'm always late.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
My time is so shit.
I'm glad you said it though.
No, I know it.
But I'm a lot of times.
No. I think one thing I would change about myself if I was in a relationship with myself is, I think the way in which I manage time, like I'd be really, because I think I say yes to a lot of things, and then, I think I try and manage my time and it's not very effective. And I think that would annoy me being in a relationship with someone like that, because you kind of be like, I think the other thing as well is like learning to say no more.
Yeah. I think you're a lot better with it, but Charlie was really bad with it.
Yeah.
And I told him once, I was like,
Yeah.
"Mate, you have to, like, as a friend, I love you, and as a friend, I'm telling you, you have to say no a lot more times because it really pisses people off." But I think you're a lot better than Charlie, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a bit better now, like for sure. But I think I had this problem where I didn't want to disappoint people and felt like a pleaser, and I think also learning to say no, and I think that comes from understanding yourself more.
Yeah,
and because you actually end up saying more, like it's kind of how it kind of almost should be. So I think those are two things I'd change about myself in a way that I think that would help my relationship with that person better, because it instills boundaries.
Yeah.
And then I think along with like better time management, better planning, be a bit more successful.
Well, you know what to work on.
Yeah, now
you know what to work on.
I feel like I should write this down. Okay, my next question. If you could ask for advice or insight from someone you admire, who would it be and what would you ask?
Ooh.
Let's just say dead or alive in this question.
Could you repeat the first part of the question?
So if you could ask for advice or insight from someone you admire,
what sort of advice are we talking about?
Any advice. Who would it be and what would you ask? Like, just if you were to meet someone that you really admire, like, what would you ask them?
There's gonna be a long pause.
It's okay, you can cut the pauses.
Cut.
It's a hard question.
There are a few people that I really admire in this world. One of them is Jordan Peterson. And I think if I would meet him, if I would meet him, I would ask him to tell me, how do you know if you're on the right path? Even though I sent you the video yesterday explaining me that, but I think hearing that from him would make a lot more sense for me, because I really, really admire him, and I would hope he would ask me, so what you do right now? And then if I would tell him what I'm doing, he would say, you're on the right path, or you need to change this and that. Hey guys, your feedback is very important. And no, this is not an advertisement. Actually, what I'm asking from you is to leave a comment below what you liked, and most importantly, what you disliked about this episode, because we can improve on the next episodes and we can make a better content for you to listen. Give us also a topics you'd like to us talking about, and we can prepare, do your research and talk about it on the next episodes. Thank you. So that would be my question. How do I know that I'm on the right path to what I want to do? And that would be Jordan Peterson, probably. I wouldn't ask David Goggins, because he would say he runs at 100 miles.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. David Goggins is one of the people I really admire as well. So, but I think Jordan Peterson, I think that's how I see myself in the far, 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 far future. Like being at least a little bit alike like him. Just having a little, I don't want to become him, don't get me wrong. I just want to have like 10 or 20% of him, the way he talks and the way he thinks, and yeah, the rest of David Goggins.
Yeah.
I'm joking. That was a really good question. When was the last time you lied, and why?
Oh man. The last time I lied was it's going to be a long pause. Lied. I think if I think about lying, I think it was more of an over-exaggeration. So I think it was like, if I think, yeah, an over-exaggeration in like trying to make myself feel a bit bigger than I actually am.
Who did you lie to? If you don't mind me.
No, yeah. Like, I think when I think about who I lied to, I think, I mean, the majority of it's in business, I think. Like, you're always trying to sell something, and by doing that, you kind of have to inflate things and make things look impressive. Not to the point where it like catches you out and you look like a lying deer. I think it's more you dress things up in a way that sells it, you know. And I think that it's not necessarily a lie, it's more just making. So like, if I use it for an example, like so difficult to answer this question because I don't lie, and I used to as a kid, but I think I was lying more about sort of like, I don't know whether that was like not get in trouble, blame someone else, lie a little bit about my sort of life because I didn't want people to kind of
judge you.
I didn't really like exposing myself, so I'd like kind of make up and be like, no, things are fine, like, you know. But I have no reason to lie now, like, and I wouldn't. I think it's the truth will always be there. Come on.
Nice one.
Yeah. My next question for you: what legacy do you hope to leave behind, and how do you want to be remembered?
I guess when it comes to legacy, I don't really care about that, to be honest. It's just kind of irrelevant for me. I mean, my legacy is going to be what I leave after myself. So I guess that comes to like what other people do you leave after yourself? So that would be probably my kids, my grandkids, right? And then the I'd like people to know. Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
How do you want to be
How
remembered?
how do you want to be remembered? So I want to be remembered as a person who always told the truth and did the right thing. That's true to himself, to himself. And that's enough for me. I think it's when it comes to these questions, it's not about money or what job did you do or like what business did you build. It's all about what you left. And I hope I'm gonna leave good people after me, which is my kids, my kids and my grandkids, and I hope they're going to be good people to make the world a better place. And it's not like I'm on a mission to change the world, but it's just I guess around that is about that circle. And if my kids and my grandkids can say, yeah, my dad or my granddad was a person who did the right thing, that was true to himself, and he didn't really care about the outcome. That's quite nice for me.
That's really cool, man.
Thank
That's
you,
really
man.
fucking cool.
Well, I guess two more questions for
Go
one
for it.
each.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of death? Why or why not?
I'm not afraid of death.
Why not?
I had a near-death experience,
Mm-hmm.
and within that near-death experience, I kind of let go. It was terrifying.
Well, can you share?
Yeah, I almost drowned.
Oh, really? When?
This was like when I was like 18 and when I was traveling a little bit. It was in Vietnam, and I was way too like, obviously like on the influence of alcohol, and I basically fell in essentially like I had this experience where I was kind of survival, fight or flight, and I kind of was taking on a lot of water. Luckily, I managed to get out, but I genuinely thought I was going to die. And I think my relationship with death now is I think I'd be scared now. I think the only reason why I'd fear death is because there's still so much more I want to achieve now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be really upset and afraid to leave people behind that I love. But I'm not afraid of what happens after this experience. Like, it would only be because if I was to die, my relationship with death is only because I know myself right now. I don't know myself when I'm like 80. If I'm like 80 and I had a fucking good life, I'd be like way more kind of accepting of it. Now I'm not so much accepting of it because I've still got so much more to go and do. But the reason why I'm not afraid of death is because I think that this is the path to that. I think death is like going back to who you're supposed to be. Like, it's going back to the whole. Like they say in I think in Egypt or Egyptology, they say when children were born, they were like, welcome to life, your pathway to death. So it was always like, this is like every day is a celebration because you're closer to death. Death being, that's like your full incarnation of who you're supposed to be. You're going back to and I do believe that. I do think after this, you are going back to a more interconnected place. I don't think you're conscious, and I don't think it's like a heaven or like, I don't think it's like that. I think it's more like you just let go and you're in it. And I think that's always given me clarity, because it's I'd be more scared of death in the sense of like, if it was to happen suddenly or be painful. But if it was to be like a peaceful, nice
Yeah.
death, I'd be like totally cool with it.
Nice, man. Nice. What you got for me?
What lessons have you learned from your most significant life experiences?
Well, there were many of them, I guess. But I could tell you about one of the recent significant experiences was when I moved to Thailand for 5 months. And I was just living this Muay Thai fighter life, you could tell. And I think, because before that I was always afraid to get in the ring, and I am. I'm not gonna sit here and lie that I'm not afraid of fighting. But I think I learned to control my emotions a lot more, and these things kind of confirm the person that I am, that I say I am. So I think the biggest lesson I learned in Thailand, that biggest lessons about myself or just in general?
Just the most, so like lessons you learned from your most significant life experience. So
Yeah, okay. So I mean, about myself was the thing that I'm courageous. I can do things, and then lessons in general was one of the biggest lessons was all the bad things it's not they're not actually bad things. They're not actually bad things. They are just opportunities to see how can you do better. So that was the one, definitely. And I've got 5 more questions, but you have to think fast. It's not you just choose one word, right? So think fast. Discipline or motivation?
Discipline.
Possessions or experiences?
Experiences.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
One night stands or meaningful relationships?
Meaningful relationships.
My guy, I literally answered them the same.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna do that as well. So, but yeah,
just
that's
money and one night stands and a cup of tea, mate.
Yeah. So, hope people you got a lot more familiar with who we are as people, peasants, however you want to call it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna see you on the 7th episode quite shortly, and speak to you very soon.